I've worked with young people, and it's really about giving them access to context, perspective, understanding how many people have fought and died to put them in a position to be able to stroll up to a polling place and vote. That's not an easy task, and you have an obligation to participate in that process and many other processes. So I think that we hope that we can get out, just like we're trying to get out the vote, get people to the polls. We're trying to get people to be exposed to this documentary.
We were focusing on the presidential election because that's the biggie, and we really care about that. But there are a lot of local races, and mayoral, city council, whatever. And voter registration can be very imprecise. You saw about the Chads, it's left up to these people who have a lot of discretion in whether or not a provisional ballot or other ballots can count. So you really need to be on top of your local election people to make sure that they're actually doing it the right way. Because if they're not, your voice literally may not count, as LeVon said in the documentary.
You guys made it personal. You took both sides, and no matter how you feel about either side, you made it personal. You showed why Mr. Baxley believes what he believes and why Mrs. Gracie believes what she believes, and you made it human. And I think many times you just hear, bill number 1355, and so therefore it doesn't really relate to any, it's just a number. And one question that I do get a lot on my show is, don't most people have an ID in America? And if they don't they know that they should have it? So many people don't see an issue with making people show identification. You have to show identification for everyone if you're cashing a check, if you're whatever you're doing.
In South Carolina, especially among the elderly, you have people who were born with midwives many years ago, and the name was like written as Baby Jane or Baby whatever, and there was no official birth record document for them, or the name was incorrect on it. So when South Carolina said, you want to vote, you got to have a picture ID. These elderly people did not have picture IDs. The only way to get it was to have a birth certificate that was accurate and reflected their real name. So they were caught in a vicious cycle.
One of those stories we considered quite seriously and weighed was the issue of the number of men that are released from prison and don't have the right to vote. We don't even touch that in this documentary, but that's also a large number of men, African American men, across the country. Every state has a different system and set of rules. There's no uniform process of voting in America, and it's still not uniform, and there's also no indication that it will be uniform anytime soon.
We have a room full of filmmakers talking about great ideas to get people revved up, whether this is a brilliant idea right here from this young woman, and there's a lot of different things to talk about with voting rights, and we love to have CNN and other networks as a resource, but we've got cameras, and we've got time, and we've got computers, and we can start making some of our own films to explore some of this ourselves.